I do fancy like the old sort of pickups. Do you know when
You're just a closet American.
Do you know when we did the auto jumble?
Yeah.
And we saw that pickup, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
That silver one.
Yeah.
And when you fired it up, it sounded great, and it was an old one.
And we should have filmed some.
We should have captured some of that. But I do fancy something like that. Some of this sounds meaty.
That looks familiar.
Sorry, we're not just filming as paper reading, by the way.
Sorry, excuse me a minute. We're looking at plastic. Anyway,
Yeah.
Wanted. I can't find one for love nor money, and when I went to look on a certain website to find out how many there are left on the road, I kind of figured out why. If any of you guys out there know of or have one for sale, a Rover 400 Tourer from 94 to 99 they made them. As long as it's reasonable, it's a good runner, reasonable condition, not likely to fail an MOT the next week, that type of thing, and it's of course reasonably priced, I certainly will be interested. I just cannot.
He's throwing himself at
I can do an estate car, but I don't want a massive estate car. I have looked at the 75s, and again, that's a possibility, but they are huge. So if you can find, if any of you guys know one or have one, drop us a line.
Have you ever considered a service day?
I have. Yeah.
If anyone who watches all our videos will know, we once did one, didn't we?
Yeah. I just
an
love
LPG one.
I just love the look of the 400 Tourer.
Speaking of which, I thought that car had been scrapped.
Andy, I'm sorry to mention it, but he doesn't seem to know what he's doing with it.
But the thing was, what it was, I mean, he's moved across. He's basically moved across the road
from
Dad.
Yeah. Christmas.
So I remember. I mean, first time I realised it, it is this guy. Sorry, I thought I'd seen the car and it was looked at it, and the rear wheel arches were literally shot.
They are.
But he's had them done. And
he's a sly one.
For a while, I thought the car had gone because I didn't see it in the garage. I didn't see it anywhere. And I think they had a 7-seater for a bit. They had a
right. He might have borrowed that because he has his work span as well.
Yeah, but it was actually the Sunday just gone. He was driving past, window goes down, and goes, "You remember this?" Yes, I do.
Yeah.
So yeah, it might be.
He were in two minds. He really wanted it sorting, but then he said, "No, I think it might be best to let it go because." I think his father's helped him along with a lot of it in their garage, and he said how much was needed to be done, especially even underneath as well. But he just didn't want to let it go, and I think he's plumbed to get it sorted, by sounds of it. And when I asked him last time, he was like that, and I don't think he really wanted the car going far because it was at the point where he's having something done.
Yeah.
Is it the crunch time where it's going to stay or go? And obviously, after what you said, he's obviously taking that plumb, not said anything because his wife. My niece hasn't said anything, but he's obviously got it done.
Yeah.
And that's off to him because when we filmed it, that was a damn good car.
It was.
It was like a frigging tank.
But no, if on the Rover side of things, if you guys know one or so have one, please let them know the 400 Tourer.
Not sad,
yeah, so back to this, the prices of cars, I mean, Martin knows, so he's obviously into the Ford scene, aren't you? And the prices
I love. It is a bit of a bucket list thing, and if I ever had the cash to do it, I would love a classic Ford. Maybe something like an Escort Cosy or a Porsche Sierra Cosy.
Yeah.
Given the choice, it'd be Escort first.
I mean, like I say, we mentioned before in Overdrive, my absolute dream car would be a mint stock Ford Escort Monte Carlo in that metallic, I can't remember the colour, that metallic red colour.
Yeah, and there is one for sale.
Oh, wow.
There is one for sale for 36,500 on eBay. It's not got the original wheels, and it's not a concourse edition. Let's say it's spec sort of car. It's not mint, but it's a damn good usable one. And that. But my frightening fear with getting one of them, if I could afford, I'd probably never afford to insure it.
Yeah.
I mean, I do have an hankering for an old Jag. I mean, looking in here, there's a couple in here for less than £1,000 for a sort
When
of
you say old Jag though, do you mean Inspector Morse old Jag?
I'm talking
or
sort
an
of
XJS, something like
an
that.
XJ, or sort of a mid-90s XJ, so I suppose a modern classic really.
And you see, my dad, bless his soul, had to drive his old boss to this place once, and he drove him in his car. The old man Bottomley and George. And he drove him in his Jag XJS, and I'm going down motorway, and my dad, being my dad, will be very careful and sticking to speed, as you would, 'cause it's not your car, you're on the motorway, and your boss is sat right next to you. And he just turned to him and says, "He can do a lot more than that, you know." When I give me that, I'll just floor it in his own Jag. And it was one of those green ones with cream interior and all that, and it was mint. And my dad said, driving that like driving a U-boat, it felt so long, but boy could it shift.
Yeah.
It really could.
It's a lovely car. The other car I quite like, and my dad had one, it used to be my granddad's, he bought it when it was about 6 months old. I never mentioned it before on the channel. An old Volvo 740 GLE saloon. And the GLE was pretty much top spec back then. It had like a metallic green colour it was, and it had full cream leather interior, heated seats, and the front had electric roof, which was pretty good back then.
Yeah.
Alloy wheels, fantastic conditioning car, and had them 5 mile an hour impact bumpers that they used to stick on Volvos. Yeah. And boy, could that thing move. I mean, it wasn't a 760 that we featured. We filmed one on the channel last year.
Yeah, I was just thinking about you did feature one, didn't you?
That was a 760. That was a V6. This was a 740, so the 2.3 4-cylinder. I can't remember if they were turbocharged or if there was only like a light pressure thing. And that one had a 4-speed auto. The one my dad had, but God, did it move!
Would you ever have a Capri?
Oh yeah.
Now you see, I would.
Yeah.
I saw one only just yesterday, an orange one. Of all, it had been completely redone, but the guy had obviously done it in the orange, nearly exactly the same as the electric orange of the Focus ST at the time. I think he probably could have got a paint match actually, because he just looks the same, identical.
I wouldn't mind.
And it looked great. Actually, it did look good.
I appreciate him. I've never been particularly a huge fan, but I think if I did, I wouldn't mind one of the last Brooklands one with the in green with the recording seats.
I sort of prefer the ones of the time from when we're talking professionals sort of time.
The Mark IV.
I think it might have been.
Can I just mention this one?
Go.
Very quickly. Now, a lot of people like the Porsche 911, and a lot of people don't like the Porsche 911.
That's true, yeah.
Now, there is one particular Porsche 911 that I really, really do like, and it's the 996 edition. It's the one that they released the Porsche
one that nobody else
Boxster.
likes.
Yeah. The one that Porsche. the thing is, you got the Porsche Boxster, which had that introduced what became known as the fried egg look.
Yeah.
And then the 911 came out, and there were a lot of people complaining, well, you've made it look like the Boxster, it's cheap, And it was actually the other way around. They'd done the Boxster, they didn't quite know how to style it at the front, and that was the new 911 that was coming out, so they took that and introduced that first. Now, the main reason they don't like that 911 is because it literally broke the mould. It took virtually nothing from the 993 that came before it, apart from a few linkages on the rear suspension and the gear linkages, and even they were modified. So it was literally a clean break. No air-cooled engine.
Yeah, that was the big thing.
That was the big thing. And for that, it was slated and hated. Yet the 996 and the facelift, which basically made the orange indicators a little less obvious, but apart from that, they're exactly the same. Were actually, without them, Porsche would not be around today. Certainly not in the way it is.
Yeah.
Which some people might think is a good thing, some people might think is a bad thing.
It had to be done. It had to modernise, didn't it?
I'm not a hater of Porsches, but I just think it's the most laziest car styling. But that could actually be a good thing. Why change something so dramatically that works?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Because as we've seen with a lot of car companies now, how they change cars, they can go from an absolutely gorgeous looking car, Ford Scorpio Granada, to the gupping ugly one,
Scorpio,
which wouldn't even fit in an ugly competition. It is a disaster of a looking car. If there's anyone out there that says, I've got one and I love mine, fair enough, it's each to their own. I'm not slating nobody's car, but I think it is so ugly.
But the thing is, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to mention this particular car, the 996 and the 997, is for a long time, because it actually became the best-selling 911 ever, outselling every single model combined that preceded it. There was a lot of them around, and of course it was derided by the purists. So there was a lot of them around. It was cheap to buy. Now, Porsche have effectively declared it as a classic, and it is now set to rise in value. So if you want to get into the 911 ownership, now's the time to buy them, now that the prices are starting to rise.
This is the thing, when you reckon a car becomes a classic?
It's a difficult one because everyone's now their own opinion on it, aren't they?
There's a nasty debate going on Facebook, and I'm involved in it as well.
He started it.
Well, no, I didn't. I wish I had, but a lot of people are following things I'm saying on this. But it's about the new Puma.
Oh, God, yeah.
And everyone are putting now, it's got to a point, I did do this. I put a picture of my Puma up that I had.
Yeah.
And I just claimed that, no, this is a genuine Puma. It's a shame Ford dumped it and then brought an SUV out and then nicked a cool car's name for it. They couldn't even make a new name up for it. It's not a Puma, it's just another SUV.
It's not a Puma, it's a very naughty boy.
It's a very rest in peace, Teddy Jones. And basically, the amount of people that jumped on the bandwagon agreeing and saying exactly the same things and saying their own views, which are all basically all the same thing. No, the original Puma, it's now a classic, and they're now wanting this Puma to be classed as a classic because this SUV.
Well, I mean, when Ford announced...
So when does a car become a classic?
Yeah, I mean, when Ford announced they were going to stop making the original Puma, about a year or so before they actually did, suddenly a waiting list appeared for the car.
Yes.
It does tell you something.
And there's a racing Puma in parts in Huddersfield a couple of weeks ago now. And when they've been looked after, and this particular racing Puma had been really well looked after, they are fantastic.
Oh, they are fetching ridiculous money. A low mileage racing Puma, stonking amounts of money from them. They are ridiculous money. I'll tell you what you could search, and here's one I'm going to mention about prices hiking up about used cars, and let's say it's not exactly a classic, but I think it's heading that way. The Mark II Focus RS. They came out at a bog standard price of about 24.5 to 25 for your original lineup, your ultimate green, your white and your blue. When they brought the RS 500 out, you were talking a bit more. It had a bit more power. It had the 3M stealth vinyl wrap on it and all that. And you were talking a bit more into higher 20s for one of them. Now, for a low mileage one in pretty good stock condition, or not much done to it, and let's say as it is, the last one I saw was £68,500.
That's also now.
Now I was wondering how much of them's left on the roads, the RS 500, because there's got to be some that's gone.
I mean, that's also now the sort of starting price, and it's obviously a very new car at the moment, for the Focus RS Heritage.
Well, this is it.
Now that car, I think the list price was something like about 40 grand.
There's a place that I've looked at which they based their name on the Mark II RS, sort of made that company when they came out, and they still sell them now, and they sell everything else, performance cars and all that, right now to Lamborghinis, everything. They're flooded with red editions, fair few heritage ones, some special ones, right to your standard Mark III ones and all that. You see the price list, and then all of a sudden you'll see an RS 500 or whatever, and the price is exactly roughly the same as one of them.
Yeah.
And you think,
well,
I could get something practically brand new, or I could.
I have seen an RS Heritage with, I think it had 8 miles on the clock, with a private seller. They're not even bothered putting the number plates on the car yet. Still had the plastic over the seats and everything. Yeah. For 6 figures.
That's it.
Now, you might think, well, that's ridiculous, but that car will probably sell.
It will. And as this place that I watch avidly proves, that they do sell.
There's 50 of them in existence. Yeah.
Well, look at the performance edition Fiesta that's come out, the ST. It's same teeth orange of the Heritage, and there's only 600 models of them. Yeah. That's going to be snapped up like out anyway. They've got one actually at this place now.
And another car that I wouldn't mind, though, I'm not going to put a wanted request out for it.
Yes, you are.
But
I could be here all year if I put a list out what I want.
It's the old, of course, the Rover Metro 100. Now, I remember, and there's still a few about like
a top prize that was once on Play Your Card, right? With Bruce Horton, right?
Yeah, it was.
It was the star prize only yesterday when I was watching one on Challenge Channel.
Have to watch that.
And don't forget as well, there was Take Your Pick.
Oh yeah,
Prize on Take Your Pick.
Yeah.
It was also the top prize on some episodes of
They've had some Rover 414s and stuff like that. A green one and blue ones and all. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a few now. You can still pick up for a few £100, of course. Ones that maybe need a bit of work or a bit untidy. But they're now going up to sort of, for a nice low mileage, should we say mintish example of a Metro or 100, you're going to be looking at 2 to 3 grand now. Mm-hmm. And that is only going to go one way, I'm afraid.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they are a cracking buy.
You see, this is the thing. You know, when some cars come out, you can look at it straight away and you can say, it's never going to be a classic, it's going to be forgotten in X amount of years. And then there's some cars come out and you know straight away that's going to keep going and going.
I mean,
that's going to be there.
I grew up with cars like that, where there were a couple of Metros, and I didn't think for a second
you wouldn't,
that they would become a classic.
Oh.
Nobody saw
My sister-in-law, when she started seeing my brother, she had Metros.
Yeah.
She had a really old clapped-out burgundy one when she first seen him. Then she got a silver one, a bit more up-to-date one. And when they was first married, they had a Metro MG, a white one with red seatbelts and all that.
It's worth a fortune now.
And instead of that,
well, that's the thing. That's the other thing. I saw one, MG Metro Turbo, for sale very recently. Low mileage, black G reg, so one of the last made. £10,000, and that is for one of them cheap.
Can you say the one I used to like out of all these? And it wasn't exactly the Metro; it was the Maestro.
Yeah.
And I loved an MG Maestro. I'd have got my idea to do one of them at one time.
Going back to the Metro though, my second car was a Metro. My first car was a Mark 1 Ford Fiesta, and my second car was a very early Mini Metro. It was the one with the square inset headlamps. And stepping from the Fiesta into the Metro, it was like walking from a go-kart to a Rolls Royce. It literally was. The level of comfort in the Metro raised the bar so much. Nobody else could actually compete with them.
You see, some people say, "Oh, well, cars are just cars. How can you tell they're different? They're just to get you from A to B." But they're not. You can tell with certain cars when you've driven one or been a passenger in one even how they feel. Yeah. There's a saying, you can always tell when you've driven a Ford. You can always tell when you've driven a Focus.
You can tell when you've driven a Chevrolet Lacetti around country lanes. I can tell you something, that car was not designed with handling in mind. There's absolutely zero feel. You turn the steering up and the wheels actually
Well, there's the silly thing about when I had my electric Orange ST. You could tell when you'd driven that, but when I got my RS, it just felt a completely different bag. It really did. And it was a strange thing, but that's how cars are. And most people just think, yeah, well, they get me to A to B and that's it. But
yeah, you can, on that bit, you can pick up a decent, half decent classic car, as we mentioned, that Mercedes there, a very low mileage Metro, because let's be honest, the ones that are left are the nice ones anyway.
Yeah. The ones that have been looked after.
Exactly. Yeah. So you pick up a very nice example for a couple of £1,000. You don't have to spend 68 grand
this
on
is
a
the thing.
Focus.
If any car is looked after from year dot, from when they've got it,
it'll last.
They will last. I mean, we all know that the Puma had rust issues at the back of the wing, but if looked after, it didn't have an issue. They're the only ones that have suffered because of stone chips or stuff that's not been addressed, and then things have happened.
That's it.
And that's what it is with most cars.
You know, I mean, you drive. For example, you drive a Metro down the road now, I guarantee that will turn more heads than a lot of modern performance cars.
I think purely because a lot of people will look and actually not know what it is.
Yes,
possibly
it's part of it.
Yeah.
I used to get looks with my Puma because I know a percentage of people were looking at it and saying, "Oh, I've never seen one of them before." One chap commented on to me and he says, "That looks really new, that car, mate." He said, "It polished up well." And then he looked at Reg and he said, 17-year-old. He says, what is it again? And I thought, surely he knows what it is, but some people are like that. Some people don't see it.
For some people, a car is a car is a car is a car.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And wouldn't be able to tell the difference between a Mini and a Range Rover. Here's a question for you, Martin. Your car has got something that my car's got, which is a turbo.
Just.
So do you? Just, you can so,
not the kind of turbo I like, but
this is the thing. A lot of people don't realise with turbos, you should leave the engine idling after you've stopped driving. Leave the engine idling for a moment or two before you turn the engine off.
I don't.
No,
But never think to.
Yeah.
One, because it's a new car.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The next person down the line, the person down the line after that.
Yeah, but he's going to be that person, so he's not bothered.
But yeah, things like that. When you've got a turbo on, you're supposed to let the engine
I can
idle.
see where you're going.
And-
I used to do it with my RS.
Yeah.
I used to do it all the time with my RS.
I imagine it's not so much an issue now with more modern cars. But
Yes, it is.
It can
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because
it's
do you know
one
how a
of
turbo
those.
works?
It's one of
You
those
use
common
the
things
gases,
that
isn't it?
people don't realise.
Yeah, so it's using exhaust gases.
Yeah.
How hot are those exhaust gases?
yeah, they're going to be hot, yeah.
1,000 degrees centigrade when they first come in out the pipe. Yes, you might go through an intercooler, but it's still incredibly
Yeah,
hot
yeah.
when it gets into the turbo.
Just for that extra couple of minutes or so, just to leave it ticking over.
Not even minutes.
Well,
Because basically you're passing that oil through the turbo, and there's oil going through the turbo to cool it down as well, and you've got the air going through. But when you stop and turn the thing off, the turbo's still really hot.
Yeah, yeah.
Part of your engine oil's still in there, and it's in hell, so it starts to break the oil down. So basically, you're just reducing the lifetime of your oil, not giving that turbo those extra seconds to just cool down. So,
and
Top
it
tip there.
is one thing I always did with my RS.
yeah.
I always did it with that. The only one, I never bothered with my STs, funnily enough, but when I had my RS, I thought, no, because
Yeah,
a different type of turbo on that than the STs, I thought, no, do it. And my dad used to sometimes look at me because I pull up on drive. I won't get out.
Yeah.
He used to think, he loves that car so much, he's not even getting out of it now.
But yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be minutes. It's
I
just-
used to do though,
yeah.
but what I'd do is a couple of minutes to tick by and I just fiddle with some of
Yeah.
the car or something like that and leave it running while I do it. Then I'd get out. And
We better wrap up. That's it for this month's
what a
discussion.
discussion for the first
Considering we didn't
for
invent
the
to
first
talk
month
about.
of the year.
Well improvised there.
Yeah, Alan Price. Anyway, that's it. So we'll let you go. Hope you enjoyed it, guys.
Oh, look, notice on that as well. UK classics hit by fatal fuel threat. I suspect that's to do with E10 fuel.
It
so
is
that is
indeed.
something we'll have a look at.
In the future,
Right,
yes.
yeah.
I was planning on doing that in the future.
Oh,
So,
spot
anyway, there you go. Hope you enjoy this and the episode in general. We'll see you next time.
We will.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.